from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good to see you. It is Wednesday, May 31st.
Thanks for joining us. It was a nice little morning. We had some clouds for a little bit, but I think the sun's coming through pretty much.
Let's check. Let's go outside right now with live cam. Beautiful temperatures down in the low 70s. Yeah, we've still got a few clouds around, but we are hopeful that the sun will shine later today, Mia.
Yep, I think it will. I think we will see plenty of sunshine, especially as we head into the afternoon hours. But yes, as Mark and Steph were just saying, temperatures not all that bad early this morning, but you will notice the humidity out there as well. Let's take a look at some of those current conditions. 73 degrees over at SA International, winds out of the east at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. You can see that, yes, that dew point has crept up into the low 70s in and around the San Antonio area, which means you will definitely notice a little bit more of that muggy feel stepping out early this Wednesday. For the last day of May, we are expecting the sun to return, especially as we head into the early afternoon hours. Here's a look at your day part forecast. 84 degrees by 1 p.m. Temperatures looking to climb into the upper 80s into this afternoon. For context, our average high for this time of year is 90. So we're going to be close to that over the next few days, if not maybe just a few degrees below, especially this afternoon. Generally quiet today, maybe a very stray shower across our far southeastern counties. More of the same tomorrow and into Friday. Thanks to high pressure in control, you can see those temperatures, though, nearing that 90-degree mark into the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, that's also when we have a few isolated storm chances that look to return to the forecast as we see a little shift in our weather pattern. So we'll get you all the details on that, what we're expecting over the next several days, coming up in just a few, guys.
Thank you, Mia. Let's look at the roads with TransSky. Looking over there at I-35 at Maine, things are moving, and we don't have a shot of this, but we have, I believe, an accident at Loop 410. Westbound near Callahan, and that's where we have some activity right now. But here at I-35 at Loop 410 and Highway 90 at Loop 410, things are looking good for the most part, well, except for that exit right there, but not major problems.
New this morning, San Antonio police investigating a shooting on the city's west side that happened just before 7 a.m. They say a man was meeting up with a woman he met online in a parking lot off General McMillan near West Commerce when three young men came up to him and started arguing with him before shooting him.
The suspects then took off in the man's car. The man was able to run to the Planet Fitness nearby to get help, and police say he was shot in the back and the groin and is in critical condition. At last check, officers were still searching for those suspects.
Here's a look at today's 9 at 9.
The much-anticipated debt ceiling bill moved past a key hurdle yesterday. The bill cleared the House Rules Committee and now heads to the House floor today for debate and a final passage vote. If it passes, it goes to the Senate. But the time frame for getting the bill to President Biden's desk is very tight. The Treasury Department says if the debt ceiling isn't raised by June 5th, the nation will no longer be able to pay all its financial obligations.
The Congressional Budget Office is projecting that the debt limit deal would reduce deficits by $1.5 trillion over 10 years. But it also warned that changes to the work requirement provisions in the food stamps program would increase federal spending by over $2 billion over the 2023 to 2033 period. That's one of the suggestions by the GOP.
Goldman Sachs is getting ready to make its third round of cuts over the past year. This time, fewer than 250 jobs are expected to be impacted, which is a lot smaller than the more than 3,000 workers who were let go in January. Still, the layoff will impact highly trained workers like managing directors and senior executives. It comes as the entire investment banking sector struggles with making new deals.
Hundreds of Amazon workers will be walking out at the company's Seattle headquarters around lunchtime today. They say they're protesting recent layoffs at the company, Amazon's environmental impact, and the new policy requiring corporate workers be back at the office at least 3 days a week.
Thefts of Kia and Hyundai cars are continuing despite a software update sent out 3 months ago that was supposed to make them harder to steal. Thieves started targeting the two affiliated companies after videos went up on social media showing quick ways to steal the cars.
The Writers Guild strike in Hollywood is now starting to affect book authors. Studios are now extending the options to turn books into movies or TV shows, but are not paying the authors anything extra.
Trying to buy a home was a little more expensive in March. Prices moved up 0.7% compared to last year, according to the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Price Index. It is the second straight month prices went up. Home prices had been slumping as interest rates rose.
The FDA is advising patients not to take compounded versions of the drug semaglutide, which is sold under popular brand names Ozempic, Rybelsus, and Wegovy. Compounded versions are prepared when there is a drug shortage, but the agency has not reviewed those compounded versions for safety, effectiveness, or quality. The FDA says patients should use the approved drug instead of the compounded versions when available.
American Airlines says they canceled 0 flights over Memorial Day weekend. It says this mainline operation ranked first for completion. However, its regional carriers canceled 34 flights, but those were mostly due to weather. The positive news follows travel meltdowns at multiple carriers over Christmas and last Memorial Day weekend. And that's today's 9 at 9.
The top stories this morning: the state seems to be close to wrapping up its case against Mark Howerton and could rest as early as today.
Howerton is being charged with murder of a Trinity University cheerleader back in 2017 who was his girlfriend at the time. Now, this is week 2 of the retrial against Howerton. Yesterday, the jury heard testimony from one of Kaylee Mondotti's best friends who said she was concerned and worried when she couldn't get a hold of Mondotti.
She also told jurors about a previous incident when Howerton pulled a gun and threatened her and Kaylee just weeks before her death. After that, the friend said, quote, he was threatening to kill himself if she left him, and she said she wouldn't be able to live with herself if he did, end quote. Jurors also saw evidence that showed where Mondotti and Howerton were in the hours before she was taken to a hospital.
And once the state rests, then we'll see if the defense puts anyone on the stand. If found guilty, Howerton faces up to life in prison.
In morning headlines, teachers across the country let us know how they feel about being armed in schools. And several decades after loved ones were killed, families have some closure.
Plus, it is a scene right out of an action flick, but it's not a movie. It's actually real life, and a woman knows how much her father loved her just from a letter he wrote her mom. David Sears is here to explain all of these stories.
I know Memorial Day was Monday, but this is still a great Memorial Day story, so we'll have that for you in just a second. Gun-toting teachers may not be the best way to secure schools. That is according to teachers. The RAND Corporation just released a report, and they found out that a little over half of the teachers who were surveyed last year said teachers who are armed would make students less safe. But the report also said that 1 in 5, about 20% of teachers, would be interested in carrying a gun at school. 26% said they didn't feel like it would make a difference either way when it comes to kids' safety. And here's another interesting twist taken away from the report. Even with gun violence and school shootings, an active shooter not the major concern for teachers, a majority of the teachers said bullying was their most common safety concern. There were 973 K-12 teachers randomly selected from across the country for that survey. A couple of Florida families are feeling a little relief today after 2 cold cases were solved. The first one, a woman's body was found in the trunk of a car back in 1969. She was found in a field outside of St. Petersburg, Florida. She was partially clothed, wrapped in plastic, and strangled. No ID. The case went cold, but detectives started looking again. Her body was exhumed back in 2010 to try and get a DNA sample. Unfortunately, there was not enough left of that body for a sample, but within the last year, the investigation revealed a hair that had never been tested. They ran it through a genealogy database and made a positive ID. The woman, Sylvia June Atherton. She was from Arizona. She was 41 when she was killed and left behind 5 children. The other cold case, 18-year-old Richard Evans, was shot and killed back in 1997. Detectives finally able to link a fingerprint from the crime scene to the shooter, who was only 15 at the time, but has since died. Decades of not knowing but pursuing the cases has now given families some answers.
There's a relief, a sad relief that finally found her, and she was, of course, this terrible way to die.
I am so grateful because I thought I'm 65. I thought I was going to leave this world not knowing who took my child's life.
Yeah, detectives know who Atherton is. Now they are trying to find out who killed her. Highway, tow truck, car coming this way, and look out. Are you kidding me? Car flying down the highway. smashes into the ground, rolls over, hits another vehicle. When it lands, you can see the deputies just take off to those vehicles. We're going to show it to you again. You're actually looking at body cam video. This happening in Georgia. Deputies were actually responding to another crash when they are standing right there and watching this all happen. Looked like something right out of a movie, but it was real life. Just asked a young lady who was driving, 21 years old, from Tallahassee. She survived, has serious injuries, and is still in the hospital. One of the deputies was hit with some flying debris. He's okay.
The crash is still under investigation, but all we're worried about is that she heals and that she gets better. I would just really like for people who watch the video to see how easy that it can happen and do more to prevent it, because in the end, that's what we're all aiming for, is for everyone to make it to their destination safely.
Deputies have tried to talk to the woman, but she's still unable to speak with them because of those injuries. Memorial Day has a special meaning for a woman who lives in Iowa. 80 years after World War II, she is just learning about her father through letters between her dad and her mom. Judy Tosh's dad was in the war in 1941, eventually declared missing in action in 1944. Judy was just 6 weeks old at the time of her dad's death. Her mom died in 1999, and that's when Judy found a sack of letters. She's read them all 400 of them. She now knows what kind of man he was and how much he loved her mom, starting every letter with "my darling wife." Her favorite was a letter her mom wrote to him when Judy was born.
The one that he got that he knew I was born, he was very excited. He named me. He was counting on a girl. They didn't even have a boy's name. He said, I ran around the barracks screaming that it's a girl. So that might be one of my favorite ones. I should be home to sort of supervise things. But I suppose, yes, you will get along okay.
Now, that was a response her dad had from her mom letting him know that Judy was born. So there you go. About 200 letters from her mom to her dad, and then 400 from her dad to her mom. And I know a lot of folks these days may not realize it, but that's how communication was done, letters. And they didn't get there like the next couple of days. They might have got there like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month later. So 400 of them while he was overseas fighting the war.
A lot of love crossing the years through those letters.
Yeah. Those are great. Those are great things to have and great things to read, even if you weren't a member of that family. Just to sit and listen to how they communicated back.
True family keepsakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Sure.
Thank you.
Right now, 9:10, 74 degrees.
And we'll be right back with a look at weather and how you can do some fishing for free this weekend.
Welcome back, 9:14.
Kind of a pleasant week. We were talking about how this week was, even though, we're hitting some high 80s, at least it's not triple digits.
Well, and considering we've had recent rounds of rain, our temperatures haven't been too bad throughout the month of May. So that's been the good news. But yes, we've gotten some needed rain, and we're going to start to dry things out a bit more as we head into the second half of the work week. So let's take a look at your weather headlines here. Biggest thing today, yes, we've seen some morning cloud cover, but as we head into the afternoon, I think that's going to scatter out, break up a little bit more. We'll see some sunshine, and that's going to help temperatures crank up into the upper 80s. And really tomorrow and into Friday, high pressure is in control. So still a relatively quiet and calmer weather pattern is in the works for south central Texas. But because of that, and because we are expecting to see more peaks of sunshine each afternoon, those temperatures are going to crank back up into the upper 80s and near 90, which for this time of year is pretty seasonable. And into this weekend, still holding on to those warmer temperatures, but we will reintroduce some isolated storm chances back into the forecast. So let's talk all about it. Starting off with a look outside with live cam, you can see, yes, we still have some of that cloud cover in place, at least here in San Antonio and stretching farther up to the north and the west. We can see that here on satellite. Temperature wise, 74 here in town, 77 in Gonzales, already 78 to our southeast in Victoria, 70 in Uvalde, and 68 in Kerrville, where folks have been able to cash in on some of that cloud cover as well, holding temperatures down just a little bit more. Here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast throughout the remainder of this Wednesday. 82 degrees by lunchtime. I think we'll start to see some more peaks of sunshine return through the midday hour. And then as we head into the later portions of this afternoon, yes, mostly sunny skies and temperatures climbing into the upper 80s. Around 88 degrees is that forecast high. If you have any Wednesday evening plans, we'll see those temperatures slowly fall into the low 80s by the 8 to 9 p.m. hour. 89 in New Braunfels this afternoon, 87 in Floresville, 89 in Pearsall, and maybe the farther south and west that you go closer to the border, we could see a few low 90s out there on the thermometer. Again, most of us will stay dry, but with the sea breeze working inland off the Gulf Coast by this afternoon across the coastal plain, so southeast of San Antonio, maybe an isolated stray shower, but coverage is expected to be very limited today, with most of us missing out. And that's going to be the theme tomorrow and into Friday. But notice as we head into this weekend and even into the beginning of next week, that's when we have those isolated storm chances that return to the forecast. So we'll call it a 20% chance on Saturday and then slightly bump that up into a 30% potential both Sunday and into Monday of next week. It is not going to be a washout by any means. Again, coverage is expected to be pretty low with that as well. So here's the big picture. Across the Lone Star State, most of us are quiet. A weakening complex of storms approaching the Red River there in the Texas Panhandle. You can see as I throw on the winds, though, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, this little bump is a high pressure system. And that's really going to be the theme, the big controller of our weather pattern over the next few days into Thursday as well, and even into Friday. But by Friday night and into Saturday, that's going to start to break down. And then this little disturbance off to our northwest, that low pressure system, is what's going to introduce a few embedded pockets of energy and disturbances that do look to roll across the Lone Star State. So when you combine that with the humidity in place, yeah, I think it could be enough energy to get a few isolated showers and storms up and running into the afternoons each day. Again, not going to be for everybody, but that will continue Monday and into Tuesday of next week. Temperatures still in the mid to upper 80s there. So if you want to dry things out just a little bit, see a quieter weather pattern, maybe some pool days, next couple days looking pretty good for that, guys.
With school getting out for the summer, that'd be perfect.
Exactly.
We have one good idea, Mia.
Okay.
Saturday seems like a good day to go fishing. It is Free Fishing Day here in Texas. That's coming up on June 3rd.
Yes, good day for that as well. Every year on the first Saturday in June, anyone is allowed to fish recreationally without a license in Texas. However, the daily bag and size limits still apply. Free Day is meant to encourage more people to try fishing. You can find more information about Free Fishing Day right now on our website at ksat.com. Time is 9:18, 74 degrees. And if you know a teen or young adult looking for a job this summer, stay tuned for information about a job fair that's happening very soon. There will be information for part-time jobs, full-time jobs, and internships. And right now, we're taking a live look at the Fallen Deputy Memorial Ceremony happening at the Bexar County Courthouse. Pays respects to Bexar County deputies who were killed in the line of duty. Bexar County Commissioner Precinct 3 Grant Moody is the keynote speaker. We are live streaming this ceremony right now on KSAT.com if you'd like to keep on watching it. Summer break tends to be the deadliest time on the roadways for teen drivers, so a campaign's been started to raise awareness about the issue, and June 1st is being designated as Teen Driver Safety Day. As Ursula Perry tells us, the mayor hopes that having the conversation now will prevent something more serious from happening later.
Your license, is a privilege.
A simple reminder with a potential to save lives. As the summer break gets underway, the San Antonio Municipal Court is kicking off its 100 Deadliest Days campaign to promote teen driver safety awareness.
Between Memorial Day and Labor Day in September, those are the 100 deadliest days for young drivers.
Yvonne Gomez with the SA Municipal Court says part of the reason is simply because there are more inexperienced drivers on the road.
This is the time frame when they are out and about and have a little bit more leeway to do as they please. And you have a lot of new drivers that are testing their driving skills out during the summer, whether they're running errands for their parents or whether they're taking their friends to the beach or they're going to the movies.
And while the rules of the road are simple,
drive safely, be attentive, put your phone down, buckle up and watch your speed.
Constant reminders from parents are necessary, as well as leading by example.
We have a duty as parents to teach our children to be safe drivers. We owe it to our children to be good role models. When we get in a vehicle, we buckle up our seatbelts because our kids are watching.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
The 100 deadliest days of summer last year resulted in 1,200 SAPD citations to teen drivers. They were charged with a number of offenses, including speeding, not wearing seatbelts, and using cell phones while driving.
And during the 9 at 9, we mentioned the proposed changes to the work requirement provisions in the food stamps program, which are part of the debt limit deal discussions. If the bill passes, people who rely on government help could see changes. And John Paul Barajas takes a closer look at how people who rely on the government for food would be affected.
If it wasn't for the SNAP benefits, I wouldn't even have known how to feed my children at the time.
That's just one of the thousands of Texans who relied on the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. The woman we spoke to asked to remain anonymous. As for the need for food assistance, it's only grown since the pandemic. And the tentative debt deal in Congress could make it tougher for some Americans to qualify.
If they cut SNAP a little bit, it could mean that the food bank would have to double in size. And right now, with the amount of food that I have, I can't do that.
San Antonio Food Bank CEO Eric Cooper says stricter rules could force some SNAP recipients to turn to other resources like the food bank. As of April, nearly 122,000 people in Bexar County have received SNAP benefits. Guadalupe County has nearly 6,000, followed by just over 4,000 in Comal County. Mrs. Cooper says the food bank is entering its busiest season.
It's when kids are missing their school lunch and breakfast, their home. Child care costs go up for families trying to figure out how to take care of kids and balance work. Summer heat brings high utility bills.
The debt ceiling deal would expand work requirements for those who are considered able-bodied and do not have children. Right now, those 18 to 49 are required to work or participate in a training program for at least 80 hours a month to receive extended benefits. Under the bipartisan agreement, the rule would gradually bring the maximum age to 54 by 2025. It would expire in 2030. The SNAP recipient we spoke to is 56.
It's a training program, and it's going to help me get a job even better. And if it helps me keep my stamps, well, even better.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
And the change is still just a proposal. The U.S. House could vote on debt ceiling deal tonight. As for the food bank, Cooper tells us that regardless of Congress's decision, food costs and demand are still an issue. So we have information on how to donate or volunteer on our website at KSAT.com.
If you are between the ages of 16 and 24, know someone who is, and they're looking for a job, listen up. There'll be a big job fair tomorrow afternoon at AT&T Center. It's called Job Fest 2023, and it's a free event that's focused on getting young people employed. Attendees will be able to speak with more than 100 local employers looking for part-time and full-time help. There'll also be some internship opportunities for those looking to gain meaningful work experience in their desired career field. Again, the Job Fest is happening tomorrow, 4 to 7 p.m. at the AT&T Center tomorrow.
And time now is 9:26 and 75 degrees for now.
You're watching GMSA at 9. We'll be back with more in just 3 minutes.
And welcome back. It's 9:30. Let's look out there with live cam. Still some clouds hanging around, but we are expecting a sunny day, Mia.
Yep, we are going to see the sunshine return, especially as we head into the afternoon hours, as we see that quieter weather pattern take back over, which is going to continue over the next couple of days before we see some weekend storm chances return to the forecast. All right, before we can get there, though, let's take a look at the pollen count. If you remember yesterday, because of Monday evening's rain, molds skyrocketed. They were in the very high category. The good news is they have fallen into the moderate category at 950 this Wednesday. Pigweed and grass also make a return into the pollen count, but the good news is with that as well is that they are both low. So all around, 2 thumbs up in terms of the pollen count compared to yesterday. All right, temperatures right now in the mid 70s here in San Antonio, 74 over at the airport, 76 at Stinson on the south side, 75 at Kelly, stretching over to Randall. Randolph as well. And as we were talking about into this afternoon, we should find more sun out there. And what that's going to do is help those temperatures crank up into the upper 80s is what we are expecting. We've got a forecast high around 88 degrees expected here in San Antonio. A few low 90s possible across our southwestern counties. You can see tomorrow into Friday and Saturday, maybe bumping up by a degree or two, around 89 for your Thursday, closing in on that 90-degree mark into the upcoming weekend. And then those temperatures come down ever so slightly into the back half of the weekend and the beginning of next week. That's because we have those storm chances that are returning. So we'll talk about that, plus get you a look at some rainfall statistics from the past 31 days coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Mia. After hundreds of calls for police service of Southside motels getting some extra attention, the city's Dangerous Assessment Response Team, or DART unit, is meant to tackle the city's worst nuisance properties, and it's made up of multiple city departments. And yesterday, DART set its sights on a motel a few blocks west of the I-10 and I-37 interchange. DART was brought to the Everclean Motel at Roosevelt and Mitchell due to the presence of documented gang members at that location. Yesterday, San Antonio police found 3 stolen guns and several safes that are presumed stolen. There were 5 arrests for warrants or drug possession, and a spokesman said it appeared other narcotics had been flushed down the toilet.
DART's not going to tolerate the use of property for criminal activity, for narcotics, for gang activity, nor are we going to allow the motel to be used as long-term housing when it is not suitable for that. The next steps are each department and the department heads, we get together and we try to find the best possible way to address the issues that we find.
Now, DART has targeted this property before, back in 2018. The owner spoke to us off camera and said he was shocked to see so many service calls. He denied knowing any illegal activity at that motel, but did say some people would stay there for 3 or 4 months at a time. Now, the owner says he's expecting to meet with the city soon to figure out exactly what he needs to do, and he plans on compiling with their orders.
For some drivers, getting pulled over can be an overwhelming experience, especially if you're alone or if it's dark outside. The San Antonio NAACP branch recently partnered with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office to raise awareness about what you should do if stopped by a law enforcement officer. KSAT's Alyssa Cole met with both organizations to find out what brought on this partnership and how it can benefit you on the roads.
I'm outside of the Barbara Jordan Community Center because this is where myself and Dr. Gregory Hudspeth of the NAACP San Antonio branch sat down to discuss what should you do if you're pulled over in a dark neighborhood or dangerous highway or even on a small shoulder. Now that summer is almost here, more people will be on the roads, including teen drivers, in an effort to reduce risk or harmful, negative or traumatic encounters with officers for all people, especially people of color. Members of the NAACP partner with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office to create a video informing people on what you should do and what you should not do when being pulled over by a law enforcement officer.
Remember, signing a ticket is not an admission of guilt. It's only a promise to appear in court. Of course, you're within your rights to video the encounter. However, my best advice would be to do so without letting it be a distraction to the encounter. Leave your camera running and set it down. The goal should be for everyone, driver and officer alike, to make the encounter as safe and free from conflict as possible.
The 19-year-old participating in the video wants people to take away the significance of how important it is to create a safe environment in these type of situations.
If you're doing something like speeding or texting while driving, etc., that gets you into that situation, remember that if you stay calm, they should stay calm, and if they don't stay calm despite you staying calm, you can videotape without having to ask for the officer's consent.
Another great piece of information I even took away from the video is if you are truly frightened or you're not sure if the officer is legitimate, it is lawful to call 911 and have the phone on while you encounter with the officer. We will post the video in its entirety on our website at KSAT.com. But for now, reporting outside of the Barbara Jordan Community Center, Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
The U.S. House on track to vote on a bill to suspend the nation's debt limit through January 1st, 2025. That deal narrowly cleared its first major hurdle last night by the slimmest margin possible. Now it heads to the floor, but Speaker Kevin McCarthy is facing a growing revolt by Republicans over the deal he struck with President Biden. Meanwhile, as CNN's Lauren Fox reports, some Democrats are still undecided.
I think you're going to continue to see that vote grow. That's what happens with any major bill.
Congressional leadership working to lock in enough votes to pass a bill to raise the debt ceiling negotiated by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Joe Biden.
Members from all across the conference shared their support for this important bill, and they shared their support for Speaker McCarthy's strong and effective leadership.
The bill narrowly made it out of the Rules Committee Tuesday night with a 7-6 vote.
The ayes have it.
With 2 Republicans from the far-right Freedom Caucus voting against the advancement.
If you're out there watching this, every one of my colleagues, be very clear. Not one Republican should vote for this deal. It is a bad deal.
Republican Representative Dan Bishop says he's lost confidence in McCarthy over his handling of the bill's negotiation and is threatening a vote of no confidence.
It seems inescapable to me, given what has occurred and the way he was the steward of Republican unity, and he blew it to smithereens.
Many congressional Democrats also remain undecided.
I'm still undecided. I mean, I'm angry that we are being held hostage.
Very disappointed, very disappointed. The Manchin pipeline work requirements, I'm undecided. I'm still considering.
Another factor that could dissuade some members is the Congressional Budget Office's score for the bill. The CBO says the bill will reduce budget deficits by $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years. But new food stamps provisions would increase enrollment and increase spending for that program by more than $2 billion during that period.
The simple answer is the CBO got it wrong.
The Rules Committee was the first hurdle in a long process to get this bill through both chambers of Congress, with just 5 days before the Treasury Department says the nation defaults on its debt. Republican Senate Whip John Thune believes at least 9 Republicans will vote yes, which, if Democrats remain unified, would get the bill the 60-vote threshold it needs in the Senate.
I hope the House moves quickly, and I'll make sure the Senate moves quickly the moment this bipartisan bill is sent to us.
That was Lauren Fox reporting. Now, if the House does pass the bill, the Senate still has to take up the issue, which could lag into the weekend, which does not leave much time since the Treasury Department warns the U.S. could default for the first time in history on Monday, when the government will no longer be able to pay its bills in full and on time.
And back here at home, students are learning a life-saving technique called Stop the Bleed. One Northside ISD junior took the training to the next level and made it his focus for a project to help others. He tells our Lee Waldman that with mass shootings happening more often, he wants to be prepared to help.
In them, they have a tourniquet, they have some packing gauze, really everything.
They're simple yet life-saving kits located across the O'Connor High School campus.
We want to make them as approachable as possible for any student.
The Stop the Bleed kits and trainings have been around in Texas schools since 2020. Hector Frausto took the training this year as a junior as a part of the Independent Study Mentorship Program with San Antonio Metro Health.
Stop the Bleed, it's honestly quite simple. It's now made for anyone in the general public.
As a part of his ISM project, Frausto made pre-training videos for students taking Stop the Bleed courses to help get them engaged.
Stop the Bleed is just another part of emergency preparedness and ensuring that everyone has accessible and safe care whenever, hopefully, it doesn't come. But again, if there's a traumatic bleeding incident or mass casualty, you're there to act on the scene.
He says it's vital more people in the general public know what to do should the worst happen, because those first few minutes in a traumatic bleeding incident could mean the difference in life and death.
Hopefully you have at least 1 or 2 people in that classroom that can be like, okay, give me someone's shirt, give me a towel, let's start putting pressure, because you will end up saving that person's life.
Frausto has made it his mission to spread the Stop the Bleed training to more students across his campus and across the Northside ISD district.
Ultimately, my goal is to make sure as many people as possible are certified and trained.
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
And Frausto says his goal is to have more training courses both in the fall and the spring of next school year.
Time now is just about 9:41, 75 degrees.
We'll be right back with a look at weather.
Plus, if you've noticed the price of home insurance has gone up, you are not alone. It could be just the beginning of some big price increases going through the year. Marilyn Moritz is going to explain what homeowners can do to help save a little money. Midweek, we made it to Wednesday, end of the month.
Yes, that's right. Tomorrow is June, and it'll sort of feel like it. Not too bad.
It will, yeah. Our temperatures are going to be climbing ever so slightly by a degree or two to about 90 by Friday and Saturday. But yes, considering that June is basically here, that's pretty seasonable and where we should be for this time of year. Upper 80s expected today. Let's take a look at the current temperatures across South Central Texas this 9 a.m. hour. 74 over at SA International, 78 at Pleasanton, stretching over to Kennedy. Currently 71 in Uvalde and Kerrville, 77 in Eagle Pass, 76 right now in Del Rio over there in Valverde County. We have seen some cloud cover move back in this morning. I think it'll be pretty brief into this afternoon. We should see whatever is left of that here in town break up, scatter out just a little bit more. 87 by 3 p.m. We've got a forecast high around 88 by the 4 to 5 p.m. hour. And then for any evening plans, we'll see those temperatures fall into the mid 80s by 7 p.m., low 80s by 8 to 9 p.m. later on this evening as well. 89 in New Braunfels, maybe some 90s across our far southwestern counties and closer to the Rio Grande. We've got a forecast high around 92 in Carrizo Springs, 90 in Eagle Pass. It'll be 85 in Rock Springs and 87 up in Kerrville. A little bit closer here to Bexar County, Neighborhood View, 88 in Stone Oak, 85 in Helotes, 88 over at Lackland on the west side. And really, as we head into the next couple of days, while it is going to be relatively quiet out there this afternoon with just a very stray possible shower across the coastal plains in our southeastern counties, that's going to be the general trend tomorrow and into Friday. Upper 60s, near 70 in the morning, so a little bit on the muggy side. And then as we head into the afternoons, upper 80s approaching that 90-degree mark Friday and into Saturday. But you can see that into this weekend, that's when we'll start to introduce those very isolated storm chances back into the forecast. We've got high pressure in control right now, and that will continue over the next 48 hours. But as we head into this weekend, that breaks down just a little bit more, and we'll see a few pockets of energy and disturbances move across the Lone Star State, which combined with the moisture, that could introduce some of those isolated storm chances. 20% on Saturday, 30% into Sunday and Monday, and then a 20% next Tuesday. Speaking of rain chances, how about a rain recap since May 1st? Check this out, 3.92 over at SA International. Yes, that's about half an inch below where we should have finished the month of May, but for context, May is typically our wettest month. Since January 1st, 11.84 over in the rain gauge. Here's a look at area rainfall totals since the beginning of the month. 6.48 in Leakey. Check out Kennedy out there in Karnes County, 9.52, 7.42 in Pleasanton, and 7.54 in Uvalde, a little bit closer to Bexar County here. 6.13 in Converse, 3.5 over at Kelly, and in Bulverde, a little over 4 inches of rain. So much needed rainfall. Thankfully, we've been able to pick up on over the past 31 days. We'll see what June can bring us here as we get ready to flip the calendar over. Pretty quiet over the next couple of days, but yes, we'll monitor those isolated storm chances that return this weekend, and we'll continue on a daily basis at least into next week. Not going to be for everybody, but we'll continue to keep eyes on it, guys.
Thank you, Mia. The price of homeowners insurance is through the roof, and you can expect it to go even higher this year.
12 on your sides, Marilyn Moritz looks at why prices are increasing and what you can do to trim that bill.
When Jess Wright moved from an apartment to this house, she added more space and homeowners insurance.
Top reasons, I'm thinking a tree falls on my house, somebody gets injured, God forbid, fire, major storm damage, that kind of stuff.
stuff happens, like damaging hailstorms and tornadoes. Extreme weather is one reason Texas has some of the highest homeowners insurance costs. Rates rose nearly 11% last year, according to the state. That's partly because home values are up, so are the costs of materials to repair them.
And you can expect your premiums to jump again this year. So now is the time to shop around, comparing the prices and coverage of several companies.
You do get a loyalty benefit for sticking around with companies, but it's not as great as the benefit from getting an overall lower price from shopping around.
This website, helpinsure.com, is one tool that can help you do that. Get all of the discounts you can. The biggie is bundling. Buying your homeowners and car insurance from the same company can save you up to 30%. Bundle your boat or bike, too. Next, raise your deductible. Upping a $500 deductible to $1,000 can shave your premium by 25%. Report home improvements if you replace old plumbing and security cameras or install leak detectors. Let your agent know. You may trim 2 to 6% for each item. But remember, cheaper isn't always better. You want good service. Two that consistently land in the top tier of Consumer Reports ratings, Amica and USAA. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Well, there you go. 9:50, 75 degrees.
And when we come back, we're going to feature a recent UTSA graduate who has continued to achieve his dreams.
As graduation season comes to an end, we are highlighting some of the great graduates from universities in our city.
This morning, RJ Marcus introduces us to Nixon Maldonado, a senior from UTSA who didn't let the adversities of coming to the U.S. as a preteen stop him from achieving his dreams.
One of the memories that I remember is my grandma one time after school telling me, you need to leave to the United States.
Nixon Maldonado spent the first 12 years of his life in El Salvador. That was his home. But in order to have more opportunities, his family knew they had to come to the United States.
An education, better economic opportunities, and being able to dream.
Once he got to Texas, he noticed something he never saw in El Salvador: skyscrapers. This is what sparked his interest in becoming an architect.
That's something that I've never seen in my country because I lived in the rural areas.
After getting his associate's degree at SAC, he moved on to UTSA and became a member of the College of Engineering and Integrated Design. While he was there, he took part in research projects about bringing more natural light into our buildings.
Architecture, I believe, has the power to change a space and transform it into a place that will become essential for humanity.
Maldonado hopes to take what he has learned from UTSA back to his home country to help build more sustainable homes and buildings.
I want to go back to El Salvador and give this knowledge and provide these spaces for future generations so our country can strive.
And he hopes to get his master's degree in architecture in the near future. RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Polls are open right now to cast your ballot early in the city's runoff election. San Antonio residents must decide who they want to represent City Council Districts 1 and 7. Both those races too close to call during the general election at the beginning of this month.
Today, polls are open until 6 p.m. and early voting ends on Tuesday, and polls are closed on Sunday. Election day is next weekend, June 10th.
All right, let's get you one final look at conditions outside. Currently 77 over at the airport, but we are starting to see more of that sunshine take back over. That will be the trend as we head into this afternoon. It will be warm, though, upper 80s, closing in on that 90-degree mark over the next couple of days. Relatively quiet through Friday, and then those isolated storm chances return to the forecast. Not a washout of a weekend by any means, but one we may need to monitor a couple of isolated lightning strikes here and there, guys.
Well, watch out for it. Thank you, Mia. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
Have a great rest of the morning. See you back here tomorrow morning for GMSA at 9.